Some big old claps of thunder in South Denver today. The rain was falling all over the metro this afternoon. Storms continued to roll through Colorado. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday evening. I'm Jennifer Meckles.
And I'm Mark Salinger. There's going to be more of where that came from tomorrow, which will likely put a bit of a damper on our Memorial Day plans as we head through the holiday weekend. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall is live in Denver for us this evening. Angeline, not what everyone was hoping for on this long weekend.
It feels like the quintessential Colorado weekend where you get 80s on Friday, for instance, and then you get this cold, dreary weather the rest of the weekend. What is this? So a lot of people in ponchos out, sticking to their original plans, and a lot of people saying, you know what, that's it, let's go do something else.
During spring in Colorado, sometimes all you can expect is unpredictable.
I thought it was starting off pretty good, and then the rain delay, happens.
Rain washed away plans for so many who came to Coors Field.
Oh, the it pretty much sucked. That's why I'm leaving early.
Randy came with his family and waited out the Rockies' rain delay.
I couldn't take no more.
Then he said, enough.
I got too cold. I tried to stay warm. I ended up buying a sweatshirt because I got so cold.
For all the plans made on Memorial Day, this is not the holiday weekend some people imagined.
I feel like this is definitely a lot of rain for, later May, but what are you gonna do? It's Colorado.
Outdoor barbecues and other plans rained out, and this time hailed out, like what we saw in Arvada Sunday, or earlier this weekend, severe weather on the eastern plains. And today at Coors Field, plans that changed just as quickly as the weather.
Probably should have left earlier.
I think a lot of people, fingers crossed, have hope for a little bit of good weather. I know there's supposed to be some storms tomorrow, but people are hoping, maybe they can stick to their original plans at least for a little while, and hopefully get, a little bit of a break or some relief in between there too. In Denver, Angeline McCall, 9 News.
Angeline, thank you. Want to take a live look outside downtown Denver right now. Dark out there, but we promise there's some dark clouds as well as a little bit of rain still handed on there, but there's more rain coming tomorrow. Corey Reppenhagen tracking this forecast and all those storms for us this evening. Corey, maybe a little bit nicer tomorrow compared to today?
Yeah, we've got a little bit better of a chance to get in some of those outdoor events tomorrow. The storms will really be between 1 and 6, and there might be a couple of little breaks in between waves. But overall, it's another thunderstorm afternoon for us coming up tomorrow. Here's a live look over the city right now. We are clear and dry right now. We're in a little bit of a break, but there could be one more wave coming tonight that could involve Denver. So we're not done until about midnight. You can see the live radar picture here. Still pretty active with thunderstorms in quite a few areas across the state. The severe weather is down in New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma tonight. We didn't have any severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Colorado, at least to this point. And there's likely not going to happen tonight as the energy is starting to dissolve. You can see the radar, a little bit light coverage in a couple areas across the Denver area, but they're still building up in the mountains and the foothills, which could still roll across to our area. Northern Front Range looks like they could get a little dose as well. So your Memorial Day forecast, this is normally the weekend we turn the corner into summer weather, but we're still hanging on to this springtime stuff. 60 degrees, afternoon thunderstorms. I'll talk about the timing and the impacts of tomorrow's storms coming up in just a few minutes.
Corey, thank you. Just a week ago, we were warning you about the threat of severe storms on the eastern plains. Later that day, the National Weather Service confirmed 4 tornadoes that damaged homes and properties just east of the Denver metro. Those storms also brought damaging ping-pong-sized hail. The communities of Bennett and Elbert County were the hardest hit by those storms, and officials say in total, 25 homes and 17 other buildings were all impacted in those communities. Luckily, nobody got hurt.
Tonight, 9 News reporter Janelle Finch checks in on the damage. A week later, she spoke with a homeowner trying to figure out what to do next.
A week has given some people here in Bennett time to recover from last Sunday's tornadoes, but others have barely made a dent. Between the lines of this nightmare was once a dream. a dream Victoria Ketchen
24 years.
had been living for more than 2 decades.
It's just heartbreaking. It's overwhelming. It's devastating.
A tornado took just minutes
This is like the war zone.
to take everything away.
See, the ceilings caved in.
And what it left keeps her up at night.
There's a lot of not sleeping because your brain, you can't shut your brain down. You know, you wake up and it starts thinking, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
She says she spent each day since the storm in a borrowed trailer, surrounded by decades of life in disarray.
We've filled 6 dumpsters and we probably have another 10 to 15 more to go.
Ketchen says she and her partner Mark put everything they owned into their home. They built a barn together.
So this was where the barn was.
They had cars they shared.
I had a brand new Ford Bronco Sport, just bought her, 2,000 miles. She's totaled, scarlet.
Now they're waiting to find out what of their life they can hold on to.
We have a structural engineer supposed to come out on Tuesday to tell us if we can rebuild or if we have to demo it.
In the meantime, Ketchen hopes there's still time to dream, even if the dream looks different.
I'm going to have a tornado sale. I've decided. What else are you supposed to do?
The Adams County and Arapahoe County Sheriff's offices say 17 buildings near Bennett were damaged or destroyed from last week's tornadoes, including 6 homes. In Bennett, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
Colorado, some more tornadoes this weekend as well. On Friday, 4 more touched down on the Eastern Plains. National Weather Service says a supercell produced 3 of them across Logan and Washington counties, including an EF1 and EF2 tornado. Luckily, no injuries were reported.
6 people were injured in a shooting in Colorado Springs last night. Police responded to a call of an active shooter around 10:12 last night on Potter Drive. That's not too far from Mitchell High School. 4 people went to the hospital. They were taken to the hospital. Another 2 got there on their own. As of this evening, one of the victims had life-threatening injuries. Police believe that this shooting started during an argument. They did not have any further details, though, about how exactly it started or any information about the suspects.
Today, the Justice Department unsealed charges against a man accused of plotting to firebomb the U.S. Embassy in Israel. The man, Joseph Neumeyer, was deported from Israel to the United States on Sunday. According to the Associated Press, Neumeyer is originally from Colorado. Officials say he spit on an embassy guard last week. He then ran away but left behind a backpack with 3 Molotov cocktails inside. Authorities say he also made threats on social media to burn down the embassy and assassinate President Donald Trump. The FBI is now investigating.
We're learning new details tonight about a former school psychologist accused of sexually assaulting a child. Jeffco Public School sent a letter to parents this week saying that drugs were also found on this person when he was arrested. This is according to our partners at the Denver Gazette, who report that 38-year-old James Michael Chirie was arrested earlier this month on a few charges, including sexual assault on a child under 15 and soliciting for child prostitution. He'd been serving as a psychologist for Green Mountain High School and Bear Creek High School. Now, his arrest affidavit is sealed, but the district tells us that he is in the Jefferson County Jail on a $250,000 cash bond. His preliminary hearing is set for June 11th.
A Texas man could spend the rest of his life in prison after a traffic stop on I-70 in Colorado led to a human trafficking bust. Kenneth Knoll was sentenced to 36 years to life. Prosecutors say that back in 2020, a Colorado State trooper pulled Knoll over and found 2 14-year-old girls inside the vehicle. The teens were posing as adults. One said that Knoll assaulted her the night before. Prosecutors say they were headed to Nevada to work as strippers. The alleged Knoll was running a trafficking ring with victims advertised online nationwide. A Denver group is calling on the city to keep Larimer Street in Rhino closed to car traffic. The 2900 block of Larimer Street in Rhino was temporarily closed to traffic back in 2020 as part of the city's temporary Outdoor Places program. It encouraged expanding outdoor spaces to support local businesses and increase public spaces during the pandemic. The street reopened to car traffic back in February after the Rhino Business Improvement District chose not to renew the permit to keep that street closed. According to protesters that we spoke with today, the group has been doing sit-in protests every last Sunday of the month in an attempt to block the street. They're calling on the city to keep those protected streets open.
We want to get out here and celebrate public spaces with our friends and have a good time. You know, advocacy is not all about being angry. Sometimes it's about coming out here and meeting your neighbors and making new friends and just having a good time.
We reached out to the Rhino Business Improvement District to ask them why they didn't renew that permit. They tell us they recognize the passion on both sides and say they're committed to exploring future investments in mobility and community amenities that benefit the community.
Starting today, people using RTD will have some more options if they're looking to ride. RTD's adding 27,000 more in-service hours this year compared to last, so that means more buses, more trains running longer hours, and more frequent service. RTD says they are adding an N-line route every Friday night that would run northbound from Union Station. They're also reinstating the free Metro Ride service that runs every 10 minutes during weekday rush hours in downtown Denver. As for the agency's slow track, RTD says it's made some real progress getting rid of 5,000 feet of slow zones across the E and the H lines.
We have 400 feet of slow zones remaining, and those will be removed by the end of this month. So customers can expect normal operations on the E and H line going forward.
RTD says a spike in hiring has allowed them to add these services.